Hello everyone, this is part 16 of What If Naruto Was Reborn as Kyuubi, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. For the first time in the longest time, the two finally meet face to face. Rivals back in their childhood, best friends as they grew up, now enemies in the present. Sasuke, I've found you. Don't get caught up in the moment. Sasuke answered bluntly, this isn't going to last long. I'm not gonna let you escape again. Naruto said. He clenched his fist tightly as he gave Sasuke a glare. Like I said before, I'll bring you back home. Even if I have to break your body. Oh really? Sasuke thrusted his hands and sparks of lightning surrounded his body. Chidori Nagashi. The sparks of lightning slowly concentrated into a more condensed form over his hands. You sure you want to spend your time fighting me? You sure you don't want to save your friends like Sakura? Or perhaps that Hyuga girl, Hinata? Shut up. Naruto growled. He thrusted his hands and S-winds surrounded his hands. The two stood in front of each other, preparing for the battle that was waited for. As if the two knew what the other was thinking, they both charged at each other. Their elements still in their hands as they came closer and closer. Once they reached a proper distance, they attacked. Naruto delivered S-motions from his hands while Sasuke blocked them with his Chidori. The fight seemed like it would be never-ending. Neither was able to lay a hand on the other, for the other was able to block each blow. When it seemed that this would go nowhere, Sasuke managed to catch Naruto off guard. Sasuke blocked a blow from Naruto and threw that arm aside, giving him an opening at his body. Sasuke used his lightning-coated hands and punched at Naruto's rib, digging into his F. Naruto yelled in pain, but didn't stop. He threw his hands at Sasuke and S at his face and his C in many different spots. The two then prepared a punch for the face, which hit the other at the exact same moment. The force of the punch knocked them both back and away from each other. They fell on the ground, B from the wounds and deeply in pain. Naruto slowly got up and groaned in stinging pain as his wounds slowly closed up. Sasuke's wounds also began to heal, the spots where there should be scars were not even visible. The two got up and saw how their attacks were healed off. I'll admit, you've gotten stronger. Sasuke said, but you still don't have what it takes to beat me. He drew his chokuto from the sheath behind him and pointed it forward. Naruto pulled out his katana in a similar fashion as Sasuke. You haven't seen me in 3 years, you don't know what I'm capable of right now. Well then, I guess you'll have to show me. Sasuke's blade suddenly sparked up with electricity. I sure will. Naruto's blade ignited in a fury of wind chakra. Naruto started off by throwing a kunai at Sasuke. Sasuke blocked the small dagger with his blade, but when he brought the sword away from his face, Naruto stood before him. They two immediately engaged in a duel. The clashing of metal, and the blasting of lightning with wind intensified the battlefield. The two and parried at the opponent's blows, moving around the stone landscape. Come on, show me something new, Sasuke taunted. He S towards Naruto's knees, but Naruto quickly jumped and backflipped to dodge the attack. Fine, how about this? Naruto thrusted his katana forward. The blade suddenly began to grow in length, the wind was making a larger blade. Sasuke quickly jumped back from the tip, but it still kept coming towards him. He quickly made hand seals for a counter jutsu. Kaiten, Ryuka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke knew very well that the jutsu needed any line or cord to be effective, but Naruto's extending blade was long enough. Even better, it was powered by wind. Sasuke blew out a stream of fire and it caught onto the wind blade like fire on oil. The flames traveled down the blade and reached Naruto, engulfing him in the fire. The fire settled, but Naruto wasn't there anymore. A shadow clone. Sasuke immediately looked to his left and saw Naruto running up towards him. A sudden explosion came from the rubble of the hideout. Sakura was the first to make it out, jumping through the hole with her fist forward. Sai, Yamato, and Hinata followed behind her. Where's Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Futen, Rasengan. The sound of Naruto's voice was followed by an explosion. He's over there. Sakura pointed to where the explosion came from. They all followed her as they arrived at the scene of battle. Naruto and Sasuke dueled with the clanging of metal and sparks of lightning and wind. Sasuke finally got close enough to Naruto. He grabbed his tea, but instead of choking the life out of him, he simply tried and forced him to the ground. Naruto tried to attack back, but Sasuke blocked the blade with his own. Naruto was on the ground and at the mercy of Sasuke, but he didn't give up yet. He swung his leg hard and knocked Sasuke off. The hit caused his chokuto to slip from his hands. Sasuke ran at Naruto and delivered a hard drop kick at him which knocked him down and lose grip to his own sword. Sasuke ran at Naruto again, but Naruto anticipated this. He swung his leg high up and kicked Sasuke right in the face, causing him to flip back and land hard on the ground. Naruto quickly picked up his katana and stood over Sasuke, ready to strike. As the blade came down upon him, Sasuke countered it. Chidori Nagashi. Sasuke caught the blade and sent a surge of lightning around Naruto's body. Naruto jumped away to avoid any more Sasuke went to his chokuto and picked it up. The two panted as they were getting exhausted by the fight. We have to stop this. Sakura ran ahead but Yamato stood in her way. We can't, this is for them to deal with. Yamato said, this is their fated battle. Sasuke threw his chokuto up and formed hand seals as the blade remained in the air. Snake, ram, monkey, boar, horse, tiger, the hand seals led to the Uchiha's great jutsu. Kaiten, Guayu no Jutsu, fire release, great fireball technique. The blade fell back down and Sasuke caught it. He then put his hand to his mouth and blew a giant fireball that came towards Naruto. Naruto quickly jumped out of the fireball's path, but didn't get too far. He touched the giant ball with his blade and the wind surrounding the blade was consumed by the flames. Naruto then ran at Sasuke with a now fire-charged blade. Fire consumes wind. Very clever of you, Naruto. Sasuke grinned to himself. He deflected the first blow from Naruto, but the flames from the blade only grew bigger when Naruto charged more wind chakra into it. The two continued to clash with their swords, creating chaos to the area around them. The two clashed with their blades and tried to overpower the other. Each pressed against the other with all their strength to weaken the other. With only one last option, Sasuke charged a large amount of electricity to his chokuto. Naruto quickly countered it by putting more wind into his blade, which increased the fire. The power from the two swords caused a large eruption of energy that sent the two flying in opposite directions. The two slowly got up from the forceful blow. Why can't you just give up? Sasuke panted as he got to his feet. I'm not going to stop until I KO Itachi. He pulled his arms out of his loose white shirt. I won't have you get in my way of that. Naruto removed his arms out of his black shirt as he got on his feet. I promised Sakura that I'd bring you home. I'm not going to break that promise. After all these years, even when you almost K me once, she still loves you. Love isn't going to help me K my brother. Sasuke answered. The cursed seal on him slowly began to glow and spread through his body. His hair grew out and changed to a more sinister tone. His Sharingan eyes were now surrounded by a shade of black. Only hate can help me now. Hate is not the right answer to this. I will stop you. Naruto screamed in pain as he let out a giant explosion of chakra. He now stood transformed and ready for battle. The wings on Sasuke's back came out as he ran at Naruto. Naruto quickly his hands to the ground and caused the earth beneath Sasuke to crumble. He jumped up and took to the skies with his wings flapping. Naruto looked up and merely growled. He launched himself up to meet Sasuke, but came up short. You think you can reach me? Sasuke asked. Foxes can't fly. Naruto's tail split into 9 individual tails and they curled up together. Well, then it's a good thing I'm not just a fox. His tails thrusted down, which emitted a large force that pushed Naruto higher up. Naruto grabbed onto Sasuke with his claw and pulled him back to the ground. From the sidelines, Hinata, Sakura, Yamato, and Sai could only watch as the two faced off. Sakura, for the most part, was horrified of Sasuke's new appearance. What happened to him? Sakura asked in fright. That's the work of Orochimaru's cursed seal. Sai answered, they have 2 levels of power. The first level simply covers the body in black marks, giving him a boost of power. The second level transforms their body into monsters. Sakura partially listened to Sai's information, and partially ignored it. She was still shocked by the appearance of Sasuke. He no longer looked like the one she fell for so many times. His peach skin was now darkened and his hair looked menacing. The wings on his back, the wings that looked more like webbed hands, made it worse for her mind. The two rivals continued with their monstrous battle. Naruto continued to charge at Sasuke with non-stop S while Sasuke stayed defensive. Sasuke finally threw a punch at Naruto, but it was blocked. Naruto held tightly to Sasuke's arm and ran his other hand up the arm, S at the F and reaching the C, where he S deeply. Sasuke pulled his arm away and Naruto jumped at him. Sasuke covered himself with one of his wings, blocking Naruto's strike. He then spun around and hit Naruto with his other wing. The two now stood at a far distance from each other. Sasuke let his C heal, groaning in pain from the bruising sensation of B leaving him. The two glared at each other, waiting for one of them to attack first. At the exact same instant, the two charged at each other once more. Sasuke flapped his wings once and darted forward while Naruto ran forward on all four. When they were merely inches away from each other, summiting came up from the ground. Two snakes rose from beneath and wrapped around the two. What the? Naruto looked at the snakes. He looked at Sasuke. This must have been his doing, Sasuke. He was surprised when he saw Sasuke looking just as surprised by the snakes. The two snakes then bit into their victim's N and then threw them away. As they skidded on the ground, both Naruto and Sasuke began to lose control of their transformation was fading. The snake bite must have suppressed the power. The snakes then S back into the ground and another being came from underneath, but this time, it wasn't a snake. It was Orochimaru who came out. Well, looks like I'm late. Orochimaru grinned. He looked at his surroundings. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. By this time both Naruto and Sasuke reverted back to their original appearance. Orochimaru. Naruto growled. Sasuke growled under his breath when he took a glance at him. The sight of Orochimaru made his B boil with anger. The two charged at Orochimaru, letting their own issue wait until later. The two jumped up and unleashed a fury of punches and kicks at Orochimaru, but each of them were blocked by the snake Sannin. The two pushed at Orochimaru with their attacks, moving in motion as if they knew what the other was thinking. Their attacks and positions flowed smoothly with each other. As one of them moved to one point to attack, the other moved to accommodate it. How strange. These two fight as if they were the friends they once were. Orochimaru had this thinking in the back of his mind. He was rather surprised that the two suddenly changed their attention to him instead of continuing to fight each other. Orochimaru quickly threw his hand forward and thrusted the two away from him. At this instant the two charged up elemental chakra for an attack. Chidori. Sasuke's hand contained a large sparkling light of electricity and ran at Orochimaru. Futon. Rasengan. Naruto swirled the chakra into a sphere and coated it with his wind element. He followed Sasuke and caught up with him. The two S their chakra attacks at Orochimaru and caused the earth to explode. From the attack, the edge of the cliff that Hinata and Sakura were on broke apart. The two fell with the remains of the earth, falling down the cliffside. The drop ended with a sudden thud from a small spot of surface at the cliffside. A large dust cloud covered the cliff's wall, but Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata were safe from the cloud as well as from harm. Sasuke looked back at the wreckage that both he and Naruto made. He remembered that they both plunged an attack at Orochimaru which caused the giant explosion to consume the battlefield. He looked ahead as he saw a figure walking towards him. The dust covered the details of the perron, but Sasuke knew someone was there. For all he knew, it was probably Orochimaru coming back for more. He charged up more lightning chakra and focused it into the form of a blade. He then thrusted the blade forward, extending out and reaching to his target. Sasuke smiled in victory when he heard the sound of a blade F and the grunt of pain. Are all right, Hinata? Sakura asked. I think so. Hinata rubbed her left arm gently to soothe the pain from the fall. Where's Naruto-kun? After hearing the sound of F being L, Hinata and Sakura looked in the direction of where Sasuke's blade went to. The smoke cleared and everyone in the area finally bared witness to what Sasuke had attacked. The Chidori blade went through the sea of its target, protruding out from the other side. Hinata gasped and covered her mouth as she saw who the victim was. Sakura screamed in fear when she saw the smoke clear, revealing who Sasuke had just plunged his attack through. Naruto groaned in pain as the blade was still through his sea. He stood there, slightly hunched and his head hanging low. Blood dripped out of his mouth as well as from the wound. No. Sasuke looked in horror of Naruto's body in front of him. Naruto. Wow. Naruto groaned out, it hurts more than they say it does. Sasuke immediately eliminated the Chidori. Once it disappeared, Naruto fell to the ground. Everyone ran to his side, with Sakura lifting up his head and resting it on her lap, holding one of his hands in hers. Hinata kneeled on his other side resting her hands on his sea. Naruto-kun. Hinata's eyes filled with tears, seeing her one and only love now wounded and possibly close to death. Things didn't seem any better when Naruto was breathing so deeply and groaning in pain. Sasuke kneeled by his side, next to Sakura. Naruto. Stay away from him. Sakura yelled at the Uchiha, you don't deserve to see him. No. Let him stay. Naruto wheezed out. Naruto, I never meant to kill you. Sasuke said, everything I've done, I did so that I could still become powerful but let you live. Sasuke-kun. Sakura stared at Sasuke in confusion. I've been doing so many things to help you survive. Sasuke said, when you lost your eyes, I was the reason Kabuto and Orochimaru didn't kill you. I was the one who saved your eyes when you went to the hideout. You're still alive because of me. ... Flashback. Naruto kneeled on the ground as he had his hands pressed to his eyes. Kabuto smiled in success as he now held Naruto's eyes in his hands. Orochimaru then arrived. How did it go? Orochimaru-sama, I have them. Kabuto presented the eyes to his master, putting them into a small jar of liquid. Now you can find a way to obtain the Kyuubi's powers. Well, now that we have our prize, let's remove the unused scrap of meat. Orochimaru grinned. At this point, Naruto passed out from the loss of B. His hands were still on his face, and the bee was squeezing its way between the fingers. Stay away from him. Ha! Kabuto looked around, but didn't see anyone. From the top of the trees, a white blade extended out. Orochimaru and Kabuto jumped out of the way just in time. Sasuke's here. Kabuto knew that it was him through seeing the jutsu that was used. We're done here. Orochimaru said, we have our prize. Might as well let the boy rot. Sasuke waited in the dark corner of the room as Naruto and his team ran out. The S-Sound Nin had just released his exploding tags, but Sasuke was able to keep himself from serious harm. He quickly grabbed the jar with Naruto's eyes and kept it close to him. He then activated his cursed seal, letting his skin, hair, and body change. He jumped up high to the ceiling and with the giant wings, he broke through the top. As he got out, another explosion came, which managed to burn the bottom of his sandals. Damn it. Sasuke quickly ran to where the entrance to the hideout was. Seeing that the entrance was clearly revealed from where a tree used to be, he knew that Naruto would arrive here. He quickly got on his knees and began to dig into the ground. Please find these, Naruto. He took the jar and placed it inside the hole and covered it back up with dirt. He then heard someone coming out of the hideout. He took to the sky and above the trees, just lucky enough to avoid being seen by Sakura, who was the first one out of the hideout. ... End. I never wanted US, Naruto. Sasuke. He took in another deep breath. I don't know how much time I have left, so I'm just going to say my last words. He looked over to Sakura, who was now filled with tears. Looks like I won't be around to annoy you anymore, or to see you become a real woman. Sakura slightly laughed at his joke, but the tears still didn't stop. We've had our rough times, but we also had our good times. I'll never forget it, and I'll never forget you. Naruto said. With his strength slowly fading away, he turned to Hinata. I'm sorry that I won't be there with you anymore. I guess we won't be living together after all. Naruto-kun, don't say that. Hinata said. She reached to hold his other hand and held it tightly in hers. You'll be alright, we can just take you to the nearest village and... Don't. Naruto interrupted her. There's no point now. The pain was now making his strength fade at a faster rate. I might not be there to see it, but I know you'll make a great heir to your clan. You'll make everyone proud, you've already made me. A sudden stinging jolt made Naruto squeeze his hands, which both Hinata and Sakura felt. By Hinata. I love you. Hinata sobbed in between her gasps for air. I love you too, Naruto-kun. She continued to cry, knowing that she would never be able to share that love with him anymore. Sasuke. He turned to his Uchiha rival. You told me, you had to kill your best friend to get the power your brother had. He closed his eyes as the pain slowly grew inside him. Well, now you have the power. Use it, and maybe you can come home. I'm not gonna let you Naruto. Sasuke said, I'll save you. You don't have to. Naruto said, at least I'll knowing that we're still friends. Best friends, Naruto. Sasuke smiled. Naruto drew in one final deep breath before it was over for him. See ya. Ki. As he closed his eyes, he smiled. From there, everything went dark, until that darkness became nothing. Naruto. Sasuke got no response. No, Naruto. He looked up to Sakura and Hinata. Both of them knew fully well what had happened. Their friend was now Naruto. Remembering that Orochimaru was still left at the top of the cliffside, Sasuke immediately let his seal consume him once more. His skin and hair changed, and the wings appeared. No, Naruto-kun. Hinata gently cupped her hands on his cheeks. No, please, come back. Come on, Sakura. Sasuke wrapped his left arm around Sakura's waist and lifted her up. Hinata. He grabbed a hold of the Hyuga and lifted her up too, but she put up a fight. No, Naruto-kun, I won't leave you. Hinata kept her hands on Naruto, not wanting to part from him. Let me go. I'm sorry, I can't. Sasuke pulled Hinata, and she finally released her grip. Sasuke jumped up and flapped his wings, soaring up back to higher grounds. Sakura and Hinata looked back down as they saw Naruto's lifeless body disappeared into the fog below. From the top of the mountain, Orochimaru bursted out from underneath. He carried small scars on his face, but none were too severe. Those two have really grown powerful, he said. Orochimaru. The pale-skinned Sannin looked behind him and saw Sasuke standing there. His eyes glared down the Snake Master with the power of the Sharingan. Sakura and Hinata kneeled as Sasuke walked away from them and towards Orochimaru, his cursed seal transformation slowly fading off of him. Sasuke-kun, what a pleasant surprise. Orochimaru smiled, come for more. Just shut up. Sasuke said, I'm gonna kill you and make sure you stay Orochimaru laughed at the remark, and how do you plan to do that? Your cursed seal didn't kill me before, and neither did your Sharingan. Sasuke closed his eyes. He looked back on his past life, before meeting Orochimaru, before betraying his village, before killing his best friend. All this happened, because of his personal issue of revenge. Right now, he was going to revenge his fallen friend. Itachi can wait for another day. My brother was able to stop you with his power. Since the B of the Uchiha runs in my veins, I will have the power to kill you. Mangekyo Sharingan. He opened his eyes, revealing the new power of his Sharingan. No. Orochimaru showed a sign of fear. It can't be. Let's finish this, Sasuke said. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.